EliteAri, if you were to describe this episode in one word, what would that word be?
Well, I know what word you would use.
Oh,
what word do you think the word I think that you would use
Can you
is?
already tell where this bit is going? It's not very creative. Nobody fucking died
No,
this one,
no.
so... Go ahead.
I just assumed... Oh, wait, I would say you'd open it with, like, oh my god, Ellie and Dina had sex!
No, it was gonna be gay!
Okay, well, close enough.
Gay doesn't have to do with sex, EliteAri, you pervert. We know you're big on the lesbian porn, you weirdo. No counter-argument, must be true.
I do, that's just out of nowhere, with nothing to inspire that whatsoever.
EliteAri, I got a big thing to bring up. Oh, first of all, you gotta give your word.
My word?
Yeah, what
word to describe this episode? I guess, like, great.
Oh my goodness, what a pathetic word.
Yeah, best episode of the season by far.
Oh my goodness, you know, I wasn't even inspired to write many notes for this episode, was how lame I thought this one was. Now, can you hear it, EliteAri?
Yes.
I just gotta keep the people up that I'm writing physical notes and how cool that is and how cool that makes me. But we have changed our structure here today, EliteAri. My notes are literally just like slight descriptors of each scene as they happen, or groups of scenes. So we must recall the details we want to bring up by memory. I also watched an Australian girl with a dog next to her's reaction because you were taking too long.
Nice.
So if anybody knows who that is, I already forgot the name. And she was Australian. Crazy. But,
Yep.
So it rejuvenated my mind, you know. Some of these, you know, these big channels, EliteAri, Blindwave, the Normies have only reacted to episode 2, I think. They dropped the show, they were so mad. And Blindwave takes forever. Their last upload was 6 days ago. I'm not waiting until tomorrow, Jesus Christ. And I was going to watch them out of order and everything. It would have been crazy. Anyway, we changed the structure so we can stay on time, EliteAri, today.
Excellent. Let's begin.
No. First, we got to talk about HBO Max, EliteAri, everybody's favorite streaming platform that I paid for today. I can't believe it. I timed it out so that it would only be 1 month. $21, I think it cost me. Disgusting. Then I opened up last week's episode because I woke up so early. This episode wasn't even out today. Didn't have to work, chat. You know, this is pretty big. It's Labor Day where I am. Can you believe it? Can you believe that Australia has different state Labor Days? So it wasn't Labor Day for EliteAri, so we had to record this later. I would have never believed it myself until EliteAri was mad at me yesterday for insinuating such. Now, so I woke up early and then I click on the old episode and I'm like, is this fucking thing doing the Disney Plus thing to me right now? Because it looked like shit, EliteAri. But then when time came to watch the actual episode, it looked fine. But they incorporated an ad for some other show at the beginning, and then they had a last time on, and then at the end they had a preview and an explaining the episode.
TV or something?
No, on a computer PC.
I don't have any of this, but okay.
Maybe it's just because I watched it so early they had cut that beginning part out.
Maybe. And I don't pay $20. I pay like $12 or something.
Well, I wanted 4K. It said 4K on there.
Do you have a 4K monitor?
Yes. EliteAri has asked me this question literally 70 times in our long relationship.
Monitor, okay.
It's the most beautiful monitor of all time. It's like 6 years old at this point. And it is 4K.
Poor viewers, they hear...
We got to discuss HBO Max. It's my biggest talking point. It's the most interesting thing about this shit episode.
Yep.
It was okay quality, but it sucks. And why is the episode tacked on to after this thing? So it says it's an hour and 5 minutes long when it's only 50 minutes long. It was pissed me off. What a terrible website. It did have Boardwalk Empire on there. I did search over the thumbnails a little bit earlier. I'm like, maybe we should watch this one in this month, you know. But no. Yep. And my next dot point says less notes, EliteAri. I already went over that part. So since you love this episode so much, why don't you tell us why?
Because I've come to realize that the best parts of the show are the parts that I don't remember. And there's a lot of this that I don't remember. Now, I don't know if that means that it's like not in the game or like it is and I just don't remember anything from it. But basically all the Isaac stuff, I'm like, I don't remember any of this. This is great. I'm like watching a new character and I'm like, this is lovely. All of the fight with the zombies, like that was really cool. And I don't remember any of that. Ellie and Dina just like traveling together. I remember bits where they're like, you know, on the horse, you know, walking around and stuff. I remember that stuff, but not the rest of it. And their interactions are cool. And I like the bit at the end where like she's like pointing the gun and you see you don't know Dina's reaction because the light is like in the face. I'm like, this is all cool stuff. I like all this.
God. Yeah. Well, EliteAri, not to rain on your parade, We'll save that for later. But a lot of this was a little bit from the game, a lot not from the game. So, you know, that's why you love this one, EliteAri. You didn't remember it because a lot of it didn't exist. But then a lot of it was
That's good.
inspired by scenes. A lot of scenes are a little different. Like the first Isaac scene, we don't get in the video game at all. But you see that later Isaac scene, we kind of see when we're playing as Abby. But Abby wasn't there this time. There were just some other dudes outside. So, you know, that was a little different. You did see that Scar's penis, like, in the game, though, EliteAri. That was pretty epic, huh?
Right.
That was that coincides with the theme of our video, EliteAri. That was pretty gay, huh?
No, not at all.
Yes, looking at
but
boys'
the-
penises
I
is
did-
gay, EliteAri.
I do have to say it was an impressive display of torture where I was like, man, this person looks tortured. A lot of the time I don't buy it, like in TV shows, but in this one I bought it. I'm like, this is a man who has been suffering right here.
There was a shot of that man in the trailer. I saw it coming.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
But true, and he was skinny.
Yep.
That's not good. You don't want to be skinny. That means you're getting tortured. Starvationed. Anyway, we'll go chronologically here and give off all of our negativities. So we started with Isaac, EliteAri. This was back in 2018, I think it said, which was 11 years ago. Can you believe that? Now, Isaac...
I can't, because for some reason I thought it was like set in 2022, but I don't... It is what it is.
The apocalypse happened in 2003 in the television program, not in the video game. In the video game, it happened in 2013. Of course, you know this, EliteAri. And so then we do a 20-year jump to old Joel, so that would make it 2023. And then we've probably taken a year over the course of the first season, and then we did 5 years forward, which would be +6. So 20. So it should be 2029, which means 2018 would be 11 years ago. Can you believe it? They can do math.
Cool. Love it.
That's big. I wish I could do math. I just did math, EliteAri. You're jealous, I know. EliteAri didn't even have his friend ChatGPT figure that one out for us. Can you believe it? Whew. Now, what was Isaac doing, EliteAri? He was a Fedra
They're in this
guy.
vehicle, and the whole time I was on my edge of my seat. I'm like, it's gonna blow up any second now. Someone's gonna shoot him any second. There's like, they talk about the wolves or whatever. They're gonna show up and destroy the vehicle. It didn't happen. So yeah.
Well, true. The wolves did kind of blow him up at the end, though.
Did they?
The newest wolf.
No, they like put a... No, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting a sudden, loud, scary sound that was going to scare me, and I was ready for it. I was like, they're not going to get me. I guess they didn't. But yeah.
Well, there's a few ways we can speak about this little scene, EliteAri. Now, I think it is true in the game that Isaac didn't found the wolves. I think he joined them at some point, because in the game, all of Isaac's backstory is told through some great notes you can find at various places, all in the Ellie section, I think. And then obviously we meet him. He's only in 2 scenes in the game, though, and it's epic. We love that he's not in it very much. But in this show, of course, they're going to expand on him. So I'm pretty sure that is accurate to the video game, that he didn't start the wolves, he joined them later on. I think it is accurate that he was once Fedra. He does become like the leader, obviously, of the group and the figurehead, and all these notes and a bunch of other notes you get of like, that Isaac guy's a little crazy. Maybe we should have stuck with the great Fedra. And they're having a little crisis over there. I'm uncertain on all of this, frankly. I'm also uncertain because I think this is my recollection, is that Isaac takes control and then he kills the girl that starts the Scar movement, the prophet or whatever. Like, he makes her a martyr by killing her or something. And then the religion starts. And the religion is like relatively recent, like in the last 5 years or something. But the show is definitely indicating that that's not the case, I think. Well, is it even?
I mean, I don't know any of this lore that you've just said. I assumed it had been around for like maybe 20 years or something, like since the beginning. But there's nothing that indicates that. I just assumed it because of how devout they are. But people can fall into religion quickly. I don't know.
Because it's kind of Isaac's mess he's trying to clean up in the game, I think. But I feel like there also might be vague... It's all my recollections of like finding these letters is very hazy. So I'm not sure. And I don't know why I was so confident in thinking that the episode had something that indicated that they were older. Because now I don't remember that at all. So anyway.
I don't know.
I guess Isaac was probably didn't start the wolves, I think. Crazy.
Yeah, the only thing they talked about was a truce. Like back in the day.
Yes, a few truces. We'll get to that stuff later. It was pretty cool when he threw those grenades in there, huh?
Well, they weren't grenades, right? They were just like smoke stuff or something. I assume they one by one came out and he shot them. It didn't look like a grenade. There
No,
was no,
they
like,
all
light or anything,
exploded
right?
in there.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it didn't feel like a grenade to me, but I guess it's just bad directing. I guess I don't know.
No, it felt like a grenade to me, so that must be good directing.
How did the guy come out unharmed?
Well, he
just,
was
like,
in the
coughing.
front seat.
There's a grenade in there. You think that's gonna stop?
No,
the
there was
seat
like
from
a
getting
wall. There's
damaged?
like a wall between the.
Oh yeah, it's like a fancy car. You're right. You're right.
It's a big
It's like
truck.
a military thing. You know what? All right, I believe it.
And that guy
Alright,
was kind of
keep
nice.
going.
He wasn't being a jerk off with all these jerk offers, talking about people jerking off in the street.
Mm-hmm.
Did that make you miss high school EliteAri, the great bro talk?
To me, this scene was like, because we're obviously watching from this one person's perspective. I was just like, oh, this is one of those awkward moments where someone's telling a story you don't care about whatsoever, and they're like going on and on and on. I'm like, come on, just speed up the story, buddy. That's what I was thinking watching this.
But he thought disseminating meant seminating EliteAri.
Yep.
That was
I'm
pretty
like,
funny.
I'd have to fake laugh at this moment.
Now,
I wouldn't do
EliteAri,
that
the
right
main
now.
little boy there, is actually the guy outside the torture room later. Can you believe it?
Oh, was he the? I didn't notice that. Is it the guy who was really committed, or the guy
Yes,
who
the
was still
committed
not
guy.
really committed?
The
Okay.
committed guy. Now, I only know
Interesting.
this because that young Australian girl that reacted to that actor seeing him immediately and said, that's Josh
Okay.
Peck or something. And then I saw a bunch of tweets freaking out that it was
Huh?
Josh Peck or something.
From Drake and Josh?
From Drake, I Googled him and it said Drake and Josh, EliteAri. I never watched that
That's
shitty show.
crazy. I can't believe I didn't recognize him. That's insane.
Do you think he's Josh and
Oh my
Drake and
goodness.
Josh, or is he Drake?
He is. That he's Josh and he's a YouTuber, and that's like crazy that I can't believe I didn't recognize him.
He was
Maybe
in,
because he had all the armor on and stuff.
but then he didn't have the
That's
armor on later.
crazy.
He just had a cool haircut.
You know what? I'm seeing him now. It does look like him, but that's like, oh my goodness. Anyway, that's like the wildest revelation ever to me. Oh my god.
So, you know, that's the most famous guy. We love that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like this scene.
Well, I don't know if I love him, but
This wasn't the part I didn't really like about the episode. No, I think that's all we had to say about it. He met a young lady who was in the preview for the next episode who must still work for the wolves. She was like rallying the wolf troops next episode, so she's gonna come back. She had a cool name. It was like Hanbrar or something. I had to turn the subtitles on to figure out what the fuck he was saying, but he was saying her name. And then I was like, is that a Jewish name, EliteAri? And then I was like, there is that, what do you call a Jewish temple, EliteAri? Go ahead.
I don't know anything about.
Not a cathedral, that's the
Judaism.
Catholics. A monastery's like Japanese from Ninja Turtles. It starts with an M though, I think, EliteAri.
M? The
The point is, you
There's
visit
no way
one
I'm
with
gonna know
Dina. Dina is, of course, Jewish to EliteAri. In the big Seattle section in which this episode is adapting from, so I was like, is that a reference to that? I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know if it's actually a Jewish name, EliteAri. She had brown hair.
Okay.
That's like Jewish or something.
I got no. I have no input on this. I don't.
Now,
even
what's it
remember
called,
the name. I don't
EliteAri?
know what
A
this-
monastery. A
Let me Google
menagerie.
it. Jewish.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Temple?
No,
don't know.
no.
Synagogue. Is that the
Oh,
word?
yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. It doesn't start with M at all, huh?
No, not even a little bit.
We'll talk about the Judaisms later. Now, still single in the... Oh, true, EliteAri. They're still only one person at the end of the intro when they used to be two because Joel is fucking dead. Anyway, then we cut to your favorite, apparently, Shitty Ellie and Dina. And do you know what it says, EliteAri?
Do I know what it says?
It
like
says
11 years later.
Seattle day one,
Oh.
EliteAri. And last week I said they're not going to do day one. That's retarded for a television show, and they did it.
Okay.
I don't
I
like
had
it,
no
EliteAri.
reaction to that.
Why would they have the day
I remember
thingies
the-
up there? That's a video game thing.
Well, I remember it saying Seattle on the screen. I was like, thank God, because I would not have remembered this is Seattle. Like, unironically, I'm very glad they put the location
It's
on.
rainy, so
Um,
that means it's Seattle, EliteAri. Come on now.
Okay.
And you can see the Space Needle in the wide shots, except I think you can't.
Okay.
Obviously, an identifying feature of Seattle's skyline that you would be very familiar with.
Right.
And you'd remember it from the great video game, of course. Now, so that was bad. And actually, that might have been a conversation we had in the Discord server, but whatever, EliteAri. I have integrity.
What was bad? The fact that it said the episode title and the thing? What do you mean?
Oh, was the episode called Day 1 too? That's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't have an.
Wait, I'm so confused. Wait. So your issue with the episode so far is that it had the episode title, like non-diegetically.
No. My issue
episode.
with that is that I said it wasn't going to happen last week, and now it's happened.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
My issue
I'm
with the
sorry that happened to
episode
you.
will come later. Now,
Okay.
and you should be sorry. It's silly. Anyway, Ellie
True.
and Dina. Oh, and they're scrummaging through some things, EliteAri. So this is like the convalescence, the acquiescence, when you put things together, EliteAri.
Coalescence, yeah.
Coalescence, EliteAri, of all of the little open world things you do right as you get to culmination. Right as you get to Seattle, there's many things you do in the video game here. You go into a bank and you find some dudes that were robbing a bank while the thingy was going on. So that's a little funny thing. You find a letter, it explains all that. And then you can find the Jack and Daxter orb as a little Easter egg in one of the bank vaults. That's pretty cool. There's a bunch of other things. There's a pet shop. You see some other things. You go to the synagogue, of course, but we've only got a few things here. Actually, I think the first one is a new one, which is they're scrummaging through some sort of place. No, it's actually a pharmacy. I think there is a pharmacy in that little open world section. And of course, Dina here finds something very dramatic, EliteAri, but we don't see what it is quite yet. She also finds a yeast infection drug, and they have a funny joke. Do you remember that funny joke? That was a funny joke, huh?
I don't remember the joke, but I know in response to that she said "not yet" or something, and I was like, okay. Is that a joke?
Not today. It was pretty funny. Because she asked her if she had a yeast infection, EliteAri. That's a pussy joke.
What's the joke? It's like a medical
It's like
thing,
if I said, you got chlamydia, EliteAri, and you said, not today.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but that's like really rare, isn't it? Isn't like a yeast infection like not that rare? Like it'll happen,
No, it's not that yet
Or is
rare.
it like a super rare thing?
But she was just making fun of a pussy, EliteAri, because they're gay.
Okay, right.
Anyway,
okay.
Hilarious it was. It was a cute little piece of dialogue, which apparently you liked in this episode. You know, we aren't up to the bad stuff yet. Now, then they find a tank. They find a tank in the game too.
Wait, we're skipping over the fact that this entire time I'm on the edge of my seat because I know this horse is going to explode at any moment, and I'm just
the horse hasn't exploded at all. And we've kind of skipped past the horse part because the horse gets killed by one of the characters they've consolidated into Manny, EliteAri. No, the great Jordan is not in the show.
Survive?
They just kind of left the horse in the music shop when they head to the.
Does that mean we're not going back to it? I assume that.
I
oh my
assume
God,
we got to go back
later because the horse has to explode. Okay.
How hard is it to CGI a horse explode in EliteAri?
Not very hard at all. You don't even need to CGI. You can cut away and show an explosion or something.
True?
It's very easy.
True. It's pretty. You're a smart guy, EliteAri. Never let them tell you otherwise. Now, or in next season, Abby's gonna find the horse on Seattle Day 1, and now Shim is her horse.
That'd be interesting. Okay.
But it is true. The horse should be dead at this point, but he just got left behind. So the Great Shimmer is still alive. Everybody's happy. I feel like the horse blowing up is a pretty famous moment, even just for the Hassan clip. So, you know,
it's my most memorable part of the game for sure.
It's a bit of a jump scare, but don't forget, it survives the explosion, and then that guy shoots it in the head.
I don't remember that.
It's even crazier. You think the violence can't get any worse, and then Dina falls down the side into some sort of something. And you're like, oh no, Dina's dead too. This is crazy. But anyway, Dina didn't even die once this episode. This episode fucking sucks. That was a tank, EliteAri.
Yes.
And Ellie made a loud noise, and it was funny.
It wasn't funny, but she did, and I was like, "Oh, you idiot! What's that? Oh my God, I'm so."
That's what Dina said, but she said it funny.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I liked it. It's cool. Very
yeah, you know, you find this cool tank in this middle section. It's pretty cool. Or you go in, and I think there is ammo in there in the game, and there was a piece of dialogue about that, so that's pretty funny, you know. And then they go into the music shop, EliteAri, and the episode's terrible. It's not even anywhere near as good as the game.
What's the music shop? Oh, where they're playing the guitar or whatever. Yeah.
On me. She wasn't even singing it right.
I think she was singing it fine. I'm not an expert of the song, but I was like, yeah, this is like good. I like this.
They didn't even use that real version, the Ashley Johnson version, as the credit song, and I was waiting for it, and then I was even disappointed then. So, you know, this episode sucked. But there's two key issues here, EliteAri. The first one doesn't matter. The first one is, you know, I just, you know, I've seen that scene so many times. So the fact that it was different was a little frustrating, you know, my complaint about this entire show. The second one is actually something I didn't like. And, you know, Dina's just getting too teary-eyed here. You know, it's so silly.
Okay.
In the game, she just
I've
sort of
I
looks at Ellie. There's not as many shots on her face to make it super obvious that
Mhm.
this dumb girl is fallen in love with Ellie here. You're really supposed to. And then what's even worse, EliteAri, the worst line in the episode afterwards is when she's like, "Oh, you're pretty good at singing," and then Ellie's like, "Yes, it's all those lessons with my daddy Joel." Terrible line,
Yeah, I
EliteAri.
liked it.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was so
I think it
bad.
was a good line, good delivery. I like the scene. Now I'm sure the appeal of the scene is the same in the show, but it's like, oh my god, she's like seeing like another side of Ellie. This is like so cute. So I like the relationship stuff there. I buy also that she is crying in that moment because it is like she's thinking about the pregnancy and stuff and about how, oh my goodness, like I wanted this life and what do I want, and is Ellie what I want, and what are we doing? Joel's dead, and I am like, oh, I get it. She's crying in this moment. I felt it. So I like
I
the scene
guess
quite a bit.
all jokes aside, EliteAri, my funny voice aside. This is
Mm.
the biggest change. This is, first of all, Dina doesn't absolutely know that she's pregnant. Um, like I don't think
Mm.
there's no test or anything in the game. She just is like vomiting everywhere, and then it's handled completely differently. Ellie's like pissed at Dina for being pregnant, basically in the game, whereas here she's like,
Mm.
"No, don't go. Stay here. We can give up everything." It's a very distinct, absolute different change, but everything's been changed, so it's not bad on that issue. I do think it all happens very quickly where like now this is a Miller the Killer complaint, which is kind of echoed by the girl I was watching react to it. Which is like it seems to happen very suddenly that like they had sex once and now they're literally talking about raising the child together and their future together, and it feels a little weird. Whereas obviously they have sex for the first time before they even leave in the other one, which gives them a few days or a few weeks or anything to bond more, I guess.
No, I don't buy it. Like, I have no issue with that at all. I think, like, ever since the kiss, like on that one night, I think they've both been thinking very much about the other person. And that was how many months ago now at this point? Like, I
That
don't
is
think
true, and they did do a
that
3 month
doesn't, yeah,
gap, but
yeah.
it is true at least in that case. But I feel like I don't know. Um,
I felt it.
it's
I was
it's
like, oh, they're
just
like happy now. This is great. That's all I felt
it
from
is
there.
true. I know a lot of people are also making fun of it because she literally says she's pregnant before they start making out, and a lot of people are saying that was silly,
Oh,
which
that
I guess
was,
it kind of was.
yeah. Oh
Um,
god, that was a Doctor Who. I mean, it's not a Doctor Who reference, but to me, it's like, oh my god, they're doing the Doctor Who like Day of the Moon reference here. Because the exact same thing happens in Doctor Who. It's like a dramatic moment where you're zooming in on this person. She's like, "I'm pregnant," and the other one's like, "What?" And it's like, oh my, they're doing. So I was just laughing in that moment, but
yeah, it was
it's
bad. I
okay.
also hated that shot you were talking about liking earlier, where she couldn't see her face because of the light, and then when you could see her face, it was
Oh, that
super
was
dramatic.
cool.
I was like, Dina is not a
Yeah,
dramatic person. This is disgusting. But that's just me and
yeah,
my
I loved
video
it.
game. I love the great video game Dina. She's quaint and not crazy, and neither is Ellie. And these two TV show characters are just crazy, EliteAri, crazy all over the place.
Yep.
I do think this music shop scene is worse though. I don't like the long shot of her face as she's getting more emotional, EliteAri. That's all I got to say about that.
That's good. I
And
liked it.
that was that group of scenes before we cut back to Isaac, EliteAri, and he's torturing
Wait,
people.
do we talk about the? Did we see the pride flag yet? And they're like
Oh yes, the
rainbows.
great
Oh my
pride
goodness.
flags. That's funny. They thought that was funny
Yep, I like that.
because they're a bunch of gays, EliteAri. They don't even realize their own flag. Now, I swear the pride flag started in 2019, maybe 2016, EliteAri, with Donald Trump. That
Jesus
seems about
Christ.
right. So them having being up in 2003. I don't know. Seattle's pretty wacky, EliteAri. I hear they're pretty progressive over there, so maybe they were ahead of the time.
This is all built on a false assumption. I'm pretty sure it's been around a long time. But
Probably,
okay.
EliteAri, probably. Now,
Mm.
oh, there was something else towards the end. Cause now that you've jump scared me with the pride flag, because I'm homophobic, EliteAri. But you've rejuvenated my
Mm.
brain here, except you haven't. You've rejuvenated my brain with the idea that I'm missing something, so you're annoying me. Isaac was torturing this guy, EliteAri. He has a monologue about French pans. Did you like this one?
I did, yeah.
It was pretty good.
The pan dialogue kind of felt familiar though. Is that in the game?
No, no, not at all. I don't think so. I'm pretty
Interesting.
99% certain.
I wonder if I've seen another like this scene before in something else where it's like they're showing this thing that they wanted before the apocalypse and then they got it and they're not happy. I feel like I've seen in like a scene like that.
That
But it was
sounds
yeah, it was
familiar
good.
now that you're saying it. but I haven't seen too many apocalypse shows.
It's almost certainly like something from The Walking Dead, I'm guessing, but
Just like the tank.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I like the scene. Talking about the pan, I don't know what else to say. It was good.
It was
don't know.
interesting with the Scar characterization, because obviously Seraphite EliteAri, you fucking racist. Now,
Right.
last episode we had some secular Scars EliteAri. It was great. We were saying this prophet ain't even real. Don't be silly. But we should keep her ideals close with our hearts. And then we've got this Scar over here who's killing kids for the great Scar cause, and he's saying that people that think like that are heretics EliteAri. So we're running the gambit. Not all the Scars are the same. You racist.
Yes.
Because, again, the Scars have already been fleshed out more than they really were in the game. In the game, they're just sort of enemies and crazy people, and then we have 11 Yara, who EliteAri confused last time, I believe. Thought Lev didn't have a hand. What an idiot.
I thought there was only one of them, but yeah.
True. And we got insight there, and obviously Yara is very, sort of reasonable. Lev is kind of more a Scar, which is interesting, even though they're obviously victimizing or oppressing him. Oh my god, I just misgendered EliteAri. What are you gonna do about it?
Wait, I don't remember I know there was there was a whole gender thing with Lev, was it?
Female to male EliteAri, so Lev is a boy if you're being respectful.
Male, okay.
But I accidentally said her just recently. Now, Yara was a her EliteAri. Remember her yet?
Not even a little bit. But okay.
She kills Isaac EliteAri. It's epic.
Well, Isaac dies? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's the greatest moment of all time. Isaac's second scene, he rolls up on Abby when Abby's protecting Lev and Yara when everything's burning down on the island. He says, Abby, what the fuck are you doing? You have 5 seconds to get away from that Scar. And then Abby has the greatest line of all time. She starts counting down, and Abby says, I ain't fucking moving. And she says it all cool and stuff. But she doesn't say it cool. She says it really scared but cool. And it's the greatest line delivery of all time. The nuance in the performance, EliteAri. It's just epic. And then she keeps counting down. Oh, but Isaac shot Yara right as he showed up, and Yara's dead on the ground. But she wasn't dead. She shoots him from behind him when she's on the ground. And then all the other ones shoot Yara again, and she's all dead. And then Lev gets mad, but then you got to run away because she just shot that dumb fuck Isaac.
Okay.
Great scene of all time.
I look forward to it.
And then 3 seconds after, you get the "You are my people" line, EliteAri. Don't tell me you forgot that one.
I don't think I'm going to remember a single line from this.
You got to rewatch another playthrough, EliteAri. What are you doing here?
I will.
You should. Why wouldn't you? It's so fun.
Is that not... I got a Kara no Kyokai is what you would call it? I have to watch that?
Oh, my god.
I don't know.
Serial Experiments Lane, EliteAri. Calm down. Now.
All right, go ahead.
Whoa, we were saying something else. Seraphites, the differences between them. I was ranting about how great this video game is, how much this show sucks. Now, the burning is the worst EliteAri. That's the worst sort of torture, right? You don't want to get burned.
It's not the worst sort of torture, but it's bad, yeah. Because it lasts for a while. Worse. It's oh, now I'm going to recover for 3 months or something. Oh my god.
True. And I don't know. I guess it's the worst because you're always thinking about it when you're cooking EliteAri. You don't cook, you fucking loser.
Yeah.
But every time you're cooking, you're like,
True.
what if I... No, I always do this weird thing where I'm like, so let's say I just turned the stove off EliteAri in the pan salon, and it's like, so you have to put your hand on there in a minute for 10 seconds. Are you going to die? And I was like, oh, what would happen? Do you think it would cool down enough in 10 seconds? What if I willed it to cool down really quickly? And then, I'm just thinking these weird little intrusive thoughts, EliteAri.
Right.
And so I'm thinking about burning myself.
I've never had that thought.
You ever think man, I might have trapped the cat in the oven?
No, never.
I worry about that every time I turn the oven on. Every time I do the laundry machine too. And whenever I leave, what if the cat got out, EliteAri? Now it got run over.
Interesting.
I was watching Wine about it recently, EliteAri, and they said this was a thing about autistic people do. So why haven't you got me my meds yet?
Well, they are, yeah, true.
I want my Adderall. Now. Oh, EliteAri, you want to talk about Israel and Palestine?
And the cycle of violence is seemingly what's going on here. We did it. When other revenge is bad or something, right? That's the point.
True,
of the
revenge
scene,
bad, yawn. Except even in this scene...
Well, it is interesting.
They're talking about killing babies a lot, EliteAri. That's pretty topical.
That's, I guess, kind of. I think the point was I felt it, you know, because firstly, I don't remember any of this stuff really that much at all. So when they're talking about the, oh, there's like so many, there's a few things to say. One is that, obviously what they're saying is that, okay, so we're attacking you because you attacked us and we attack you, and it's like cycle, whatever. We just keep going back and back and back and whatever. I like that. It's interesting. You know, it gets done in a million things. We've seen an Attack on Titan most famously.
It's kind of
Then we
dismissive
have,
of the theme, though, right? That's kind of the point of the scene, I feel like. It's like, yeah, we attacked you and you attacked us first. It's because in Attack on Titan's for little babies, EliteAri, they would probably say this profoundly, where it's like, oh, can you believe it? Everybody, like, Reinhard was only doing it because he did that thing, and then there's a... But here it's more like, I don't care. For practical reasons, we're going to kill all of you. It's, like, got nothing to do with the cycle of violence for Isaac, basically.
No, that's what I was getting to, which is that you have you have this thing which they're talking about, but the point is that it doesn't matter. Like, at this point, who cares who started what? And
but that's
like,
what everybody told me the
now,
video game was about.
Wait, what?
That's
no,
what
we haven't got to
about.
the thing yet. Wait, that's what's going on in this scene.
Yes.
And the reason we have this scene here is so that later on, when Ellie's making the decision, do we like live with our new happy life and move on and like forget the past, or do we like go and attack Seattle or whatever, go to that building, the white building? It's like at this point, what do you do? Like, do you think about how they killed Joel and like that but Joel killed other people and you were the first one to kill someone in Seattle and they're gonna blame you for that, and like do you like worry about all that like the Scar did or whatever, or do you just like decide, oh, you know, none of it matters, let's just like leave or something like that, right?
Yes, this is all true. It is
I
a
think
massive
that was
part
like
of Ellie's story.
that was the point of like, well, yeah. Wait, is this not what? Wait, what did you say? That the people think the game is about revenge?
Well,
right?
everybody thinks the conclusion of the game is that revenge is bad. Yawn.
And isn't that what this is doing when she decides to go instead of like leave at this moment where she could have had like a happy life, and it's like embodied in what Isaac was
Well,
saying
yeah,
at this
she is
moment,
making
like,
a bad
like...
decision in service of revenge. But this, obviously, Ellie's resolution is not this part. So this is very different.
Right. Sure. It was cool. I liked it.
What was I saying before that, EliteAri? Revenge. True. Oh, I wanted to bring up the truce thing. This is a thing from the game. They do. Abby and Lev have an argument about the truce at some point, which is very cute. So the babies thing is very particular because I don't remember any baby thing, and it's pretty bad later on. There is a bad line when the wolves break into the TV station. Yeah, and they're like, I don't care if it's a woman or a little kid or a fucking baby, bro. I'm going to kill them all. And I was like, well, this is a pretty bad line. And I think it is an intentional, like, call to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Now, obviously, rather infamously...
What are you talking about? Oh
Neil Druckmann has admitted,
let me just
EliteAri.
say, nope, never crossed my mind watching the scene, but okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, you're famously, you didn't even know the election was last week.
I'm a very normal person who doesn't think much about.
Well, I'll tell you who's not a normal person. Neil Druckmann, a citizen of Israel, of course, and he said in an interview one time.
Famous writer of this episode.
This got him in. Oh, you know, he didn't come up with this video game. You know, he's not on the writing stuff. You know, nothing. He might have.
Is he credited as like a writer?
No,
for this
he
episode?
wrote the last two. As in the last two of the season, not the last two that just happened. Anyway, he famously said an inspiration for the Scar and Wolf conflict was one time when he was a little guy, he watched a video of some Israeli soldiers getting killed by like a Palestinian riot or something, and he wanted to show the folly of that hatred or something in the game, and that was a big inspiration for him for this conflict, EliteAri. So, you know, checkmate loser. Now... This got him in hot water in 2020 when nobody knew about this Israel-Palestine stuff. And I remember, actually, very funny for us, EliteAri, Miller the Killer tried to trot this out to say Neil Druckmann bad back in the day, but now he hates Hassan in Palestine. So can you believe that? It's how the topics have turned.
I have no opinion on Miller's opinion, okay? I'm not.
I have plenty of opinions on Miller's opinions, frankly. Now, I don't know. They said babies a lot, EliteAri. I was like... Even if it's not intentional, it's like, ugh.
That's how they do that in Attack on Titan as well.
But Attack on Titan's for retards.
Yeah, they're obviously referencing Attack on Titan in this moment. What do you mean?
The guys,
Neil Druckmann hasn't seen Attack on Titan?
I bet he has. He's a champion, that Neil Druckmann. He knows good storytelling when it hits him in the face. All I'm saying is I'm thinking like
2013, right?
The guy that sits there for the New York Times and has to write the chapter review of this, the chapter review, you got me in Attack on Titan mode. He's definitely going to make a side note, EliteAri, about how this is potentially problematic and, you know...
Even though emblematic of Eren Yeager's actions, and,
even though the wolves, who are very much positioned as the bad guys, obviously because we hate them, because we hate the Great Abbey at this point, the Israelis, pretty obviously. And there's also like one side is a religious people with worse weapons and stuff like that. So I don't know, EliteAri. We're playing with. I feel like we should have
You
toned
mean like
this
the
stuff
aliens
down.
on the island? Who? Wait, what are
True.
you talking about? This is this is a thing, and it's like not like a direct. In all conflicts across all of time, this is like a paradigm, right?
So
You'll have
every
one who is,
conflict,
like,
you
gonna
know, there's
have
one
more
that's
advanced
weak and one that's
technology and one
strong.
is not. And
When we were
yeah,
fighting
there'll be an
those
underdog
Germans,
and one
you
person in
know.
power.
Well, I guess the Germans did have those boats that were pretty strong, but then we cracked the code or something and we beat them, EliteAri. You'd know that from Black Lagoon.
True. Yes,
True.
I do remember those episodes.
There you go. All I'm saying, you don't want to kick the hornet's nest here. You know, we need the progressives to like this show, EliteAri. We're outnumbered. I did see an article today, EliteAri, that said Last of Us has steadily decreased in viewership since Joel died. So, you know, shouldn't have killed Joel, EliteAri.
How could they know that? It's one episode.
No, it was
Steadily? It hasn't been two. How are people going to watch
this would be the second
it
one.
comes out?
And EliteAri, guess what? It wasn't even a...
Wait.
Well, it was an article, but it was a YouTube thumbnail, and then it had the article image in the video. So it's a talking point, at least.
It was probably even old. It probably came out before the
and
episode came out. Anyway.
And it was a guy with a beard, EliteAri. So he was cheering on the downfall of the show.
Right.
Well, what do you think? I was bringing this up seriously?
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Do you think I hate Joel dying?
Where it's like, no, it's gonna be like one of those things where it's a narrative that these little seeds get seeded and they're like very weak evidence, and eventually people will be like, the show, you know, it was from the beginning, it was destined to fail. Remember that one time, that article back in the day where it said the viewership was down, which isn't true.
They worked it up.
It's not.
The show used to be about the great Pedro Pascal,
argument.
and now it's about lesbians, EliteAri. Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
Your mum and uncle, they stopped watching the show.
I don't actually know. My mum might be watching it. I'm not sure. I should ask her. She watched season 1, I think. She did watch season 1, actually.
That is true. My parents and my little brother watched season 1, but no one has HBO Max, I don't think. So nobody even knows the show is on.
True.
Anyway, put it back on the great binge, EliteAri. What are we doing? Anyway, babies, EliteAri. Stop saying it.
Yep.
Now, TV station, EliteAri.
Wait. Just to say, I don't remember much of the details again.
I loved answering these questions.
But in this moment, when I'm watching Isaac in this torturing scene,
the guy outside is nobody.
The Seraphite's side or whatever. I think I am on that side. Where I'm like, torturing, you know, killing is not as bad as torturing. And they killed someone and he's torturing this person.
Well, the Seraphite says they kill you, do torture you by cutting your guts out.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen the guts. I haven't seen the torture.
True. They could have done that afterwards.
But I was on the side of the Seraphite in that scene.
But you got to remember the great trailer, EliteAri, where they bashed Yara's arm in, and we don't like that.
True.
But, you know, they did some evil things, and they did some getting tortured things. So, you know, maybe there's no bad people in conflict, EliteAri.
Or no good people.
No good people, true. But you don't want to liken that to Israel and Palestine, because there is a bad guy there, EliteAri.
I didn't. I didn't liken it to it.
You got to be careful. TV station. This wasn't as cool as the video game. You know, when you go in and you see the bodies and stuff, and you see the one guy with the arrows in it, that would have been Jordan's girlfriend, one of the people that went to kill Joel. And you find a little radio there, and she has a bunch of pictures of all of the people there that we can put on our little dartboard when we get back to the theater. It's pretty cool. And there was a kind of a gamey element where they had to hide, which was cute because they did feel very trapped. And it was like, in a video game, I'd just kill all these people, but they're not going to do that in the show. How are they going to get out of this situation, EliteAri? So were you scared?
No.
Oh. Why not?
Wait, why? What, you mean when they come in and they're like on the
they're
radio
hiding,
and they, like,
EliteAri. How are they going to get out?
What? I wasn't scared because I'm like, yeah, I've seen the game and they're gonna get out. But I was like, oh, this is like kind of cool.
But it was a tense
like a
moment.
Escape kind of.
I clutched the pearls.
It was tense. That is true. Yep.
Now, narrow escape I have written down here, EliteAri. So they all break in and then they kill 2 of them, I think. Ellie gets one in a chokehold, but then Dean has to shoot him. Didn't even kill him in the chokehold. Embarrassing. Abby would never. And then they shoot the thingy, and then they run outside, and then they try to run away, and then they got to crawl through the thingy, and then they're underground in a tunnel with a train, and there's the red lights. Remember this great sequence from the video game with the red lights and stuff? It's so cool. And then there's a whole swarm again, because the show can't do anything without a whole swarm, EliteAri.
God, it was so cool. This is like one of the best action pieces with zombies like
Remember
in a
when they're all
while.
clawing
Like I
at
don't
it?
remember.
Lame.
Yeah, like when they're going through the bus and like you got the soft bit of the bus, like the bendy bit, and it's like attacking through there. And I'm like, this is so cool. I've never
Holy
seen stuff
fuck,
like this
it was
before.
a bus, huh? It wasn't even a train.
Well, it could be a train, but it was like whatever it was, a bus, train.
I
Like it has
guess
that little bendy bit where it's like
do some
turning, and I'm
trains
like,
have
this
the
is kind of
bendy
cool.
bits like that? It looked
Yeah, they
like a
do.
bus
Yeah,
bendy bit. Okay, maybe.
it did, definitely did. Which is why I assumed it was a bus. But it's like really, I liked it. A lot of cool small action bits like that. I like the running to that cage thing, like the rotating thing that lets you in the
Yeah,
station.
that was a little scary, you know. That's from the video
Yep.
game. But Abby,
Yep,
but
good.
here, Abby gets not Abby. The great Ellie gets bitten here, whereas in the game, she just her mask breaks as she's inhaling the spores. Now we don't have the
I do
spores in
remember
the
that.
show, though they are in the preview for the next episode. So that's crazy.
Yep.
Looks like we're going to Area 0 next episode of EliteAri, in the basement of the hospital where the crazy rat monster is. Can you believe it? You remember the rat monster, EliteAri?
I do remember rat monster thing. I don't remember the. I do remember the hospital. Yeah, I do remember. All this I do actually remember. Yeah.
Got to chase Nora around or something. Now,
I also just remembered that this episode was directed by Kate Herron. From
famous
the great
for
Loki.
oh.
Showrunner for the first season of Loki, I think. Actually, I know she's the showrunner, but she directed all the episodes of the first season of Loki, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, like that was a really well-directed show, the first season at least. So anyway.
Did you like the part in my recent Berserk video where I tried to pitch myself to write the Berserk live-action television series?
By the time people see this, maybe, you know? Yes.
Oh.
I don't know.
EliteAri hasn't watched my video yet. He's a bad friend. Now...
Yeah.
Oh, EliteAri, everybody should go and check out my new Berserk video, huh?
Yep.
True.
And my latest Doctor Who reaction.
Okay. True. And, Karanokyo Kai, it'll be out soon.
Yep.
Did you add him to your media checklist yet at EliteAri?
Yep.
No, I would have seen him.
Okay.
Now, Red Train's EliteAri, Ellie's bitten. Now, obviously, when Ellie gets bit, her mask breaks in the video game, it's the coolest scene of all time that they completely butchered here, EliteAri. You know, they have a little thingy while they're still running away, and she says, and then Ellie just takes her mask off, because Dina goes to take her mask off to give it to Ellie, because she's just going to sacrifice herself immediately, because she's such a champion, EliteAri. And then Ellie says, no, don't do that, we're going crazy. And then when they get back to the thing, they have the argument about how, and you didn't have to wait a whole night, because we already saw her breathe in the spores, and she didn't just collapse and stuff. So anyway, you know, a bunch of silly nonsense. And then Dina's mad, and then Dina says that she's pregnant at the end of the scene, and then Ellie gets to be the one that's mad. And then she walks off. Way better.
It could be a bit like it could be better in the game, I'm not sure. I do like the using the arm to protect the person who's not immune. I liked it. It was cool. And
Yeah,
there is like
whatever.
I don't know, I assume this is different because you're saying the spores you'd know instantly, but it was cool to kind of see Dina chase.
You don't
and be a
die
bit
instantly.
confused for
I
a
was
little bit and be
conveniently
like,
using that for my narrative.
okay. Well, it was cool watching her chase Ellie and like not quite know what to do, and it's like, did she get bit? She did, and what do I do? And am I gonna shoot her? And I thought that was cool. Good bit of tension, I guess.
I don't know. It felt silly and dramatic, frankly. Now, oh, there was a cute line where they find the scar, the scar savagery EliteAri, and they say, and Dina says, "What the fuck is happening in Seattle?" That was pretty funny, EliteAri.
Right.
I think that was from the game too. I'm not sure. They didn't find Tommy's horse all ripped up by infected, because Tommy's not there yet. I forgot. Anyway, that's when Dina vomits for the first time. That bitch is pregnant. I was watching one of the various people I've watched play through the game knew that she was infected, not infected, pregnant right then. It might have been the great Eric from Blind Wave. I'm not sure. Now, because he can tell that he's a genius, or he's a learned
the guy
man.
who's played through the game, and you've watched his playthrough. Yeah, true.
No, not in his reaction. In the when he's playing through the video game for the first time.
Oh, in the original playthrough.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
He knows women at EliteAri. What could I say? Now,
Right.
then we're in the theater, EliteAri. We're gay and pregnant, and explosions in the distance, and Ellie is concerned. Whereas in the video game, she'd say, "Fuck you, Dina." get unpregnant, you stupid bitch. And she's also not happy about the kid at all. We get no mention that she's going to be a parent to this kid until we flash forward and they are happening. There was a cute line here where she says, Dina, are you a little whore? And Dina says, no, just for Jesse. That was pretty funny. And then Ellie said she was going to be a dad, which was pretty funny. And
that was funny, yeah. I like that.
She fingered her EliteAri. I was seeing some people making fun of that on Twitter. All the fingering was off screen.
Why are they making fun of it?
Because she was pregnant right before it, I think. But that's all my notes, EliteAri. They I guess another thing is that they're slowly getting more information that like Seattle is a little crazy, EliteAri, and a lot more than they're expecting. And there's 2 warring factions here, and we thought it was going to be 20 people in a hotel we could go and kill. And now there's a whole army, and they're exploding stuff in the distance. We can't explode stuff, and it kind of is a step in or a fill in for how we find things out in the video game, of course, of slowly drip feeding. Like you encounter waves of enemies, which are much more like waves of people in the TV show is obviously worse than in the game, because in the game you can just shoot them. And it doesn't, but when it's like the 5th one and you're like, oh fuck, this is gonna have narrative consequences when this stops becoming gameplay. They've done it fine in the show, I guess. It's not as like, it feels like a big part of the journey. Obviously, all of this stuff is over like probably like 4 hours of gameplay or something. Seattle Day 1, and we wake up on Seattle Day 2 here. We didn't get a little pop up, but it also seems like we're probably going to be structuring the episodes. So next one will be 2 and then 3. So this is episode 4. So then we'll get there, and then the last one is probably the night of 3, I guess, because it'll probably be Abby showing up and shooting the great Jesse, EliteAri. Also, I guess you can't really get around this, but he's only going to be in the next 2 episodes before he dies, so is that going to be as impactful? He probably won't be in the 3rd one too much, because him and Ellie split up when he goes to save Tommy, but Tommy isn't here yet, so I don't know what we're doing on that front. Maybe Tommy was down there exploding people, and him and Jesse are already here.
Maybe, yeah.
Probably not, though. I don't think they got an RPG on hand. We didn't cut back to Jackson either, which is kind of an interesting thing, right? So
thank God.
A lot of people were concerned that we were going to have a Jackson storyline with Tommy, and it was going to be like him dealing with something or something. Doesn't seem to be the case.
I'm glad that they didn't.
It did feel very much like because this was another thing that's like, how do you translate sort of the Dina and Ellie wandering around for like 4 hours, which is Seattle Day 1. Obviously, a lot of that is Dina characterization. With the synagogue, etc. She's talking about her past there. We didn't really get any of that, which is fine. But we already sort of liked Dina in the show because we spent more time in the introductory stages. So we kind of sped through it, but I don't know, EliteAri, you got notes or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I only have 2. One of them is that they're clearly setting up Dina to die, because it's like Ellie has a choice where it's like this is the moment. This is like the important choice, right? Where it's like she can choose to, like I said before, she can choose to go forward, fight in this white building and whatever, and take with her the new love, that she's found, and the family that she like wants to have and everything, and potentially lose it, and probably lose it. So Dina's gonna die if she goes forward. Or she can turn back after the hectic battle with the zombies she's had and the people she's had to kill and run away from. And it was like the first test where it's like, this is the first of many to come, right? So Dina is being set up to die. Now, obviously, she's not going to die, but that's what the feeling is going on here. But yeah.
Well, thanks for walking back the interesting part of the conversation at the end there, EliteAri.
Yeah. No, she's not going to die. Obviously not. It's going to be like the same as the game.
We could change stuff. Maybe Jesse survives.
No, I would bet you anything she's not going to die.
And Dean and Ellie and Jesse have to raise JJ. It'll be a great little switch up.
Yeah. No.
Maybe she's got to go and be Hawk Girl in Superman, so she can't be Dina in season 3. Did you know she's Hawk Girl in Superman?
No.
Kind of funny, reminded me about that the other day. Now, wait, there was something else. Well, I don't know. You kind of cut the whole conversation at the end, you idiot.
Why do you think there's no chance? There's 0 chance Dina's going to die. Absolutely 0, yeah.
So it is interesting because this moment I guess it doesn't happen in the game because Ellie is just not even considering at all leaving for Dina's sake. Like even when Jesse shows up and at first they don't tell Jesse, and then I think Ellie tells Jesse while Dina is like sleeping or something, and then Jesse doesn't even bring up to Ellie that they should go back, but he clearly says something to Dina, and then Ellie rejects it, and then there's also a moment where it's like Ellie has a choice with Jesse, where it's like they've agreed that on Seattle Day 3, we're not going out to find Abby, we're going out to find Tommy, and then we're going home because Dina is pregnant. And there comes a crossing point where Tommy is in this direction, and Abby in the aquarium is in this direction, and Jesse says, "You promised, we're going in this direction," and Ellie says, "Fuck you, I'm going in this direction," and they do split up. And that's when she finds and kills Mel and Owen. And Alice, of course, the great dog EliteAri, you remember?
Nope.
He was such a good boy, EliteAri, and Ellie fucking stabbed him in the neck like 3 times or something. So the point is they end up regrouping, and then they're all like fine, and that's when Abby breaks in and seemingly does kill Jesse and seemingly kills Tommy. So it is interesting where it's like, here it is much more direct, like, it does seem like it's setting up, well, Ellie, your punishment for this thematic failure here is going to be Dina is going to get killed. Whereas in the game, it's more so like Jesse gets killed. It's very interesting because it's like, how direct do you have to be with your theme? Should it be literally the one that it was about that should get punished? Or is it just Ellie needs to be punished in some sense? Thematic, like... weighing of the scales in that way is very interesting, and how like almost silly and arbitrary it is, but it kind of feels right.
I mean, it feels like you're setting up this. Well, it's to further the theme of revenge being bad, right?
Yeah, basically.
Because it sets up like this is her first chance, where it's like she could have turned back now. The second chance will be when Jesse is killed. When it's like it could have been Dina, but no, it was Jesse. You're lucky. Are you gonna turn back now? And it's like, no, I'm not turning back now.
Well, she kind of has to turn back then.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, Abby comes in, she kills Jesse, Tommy's bleeding out and has like a broken leg or whatever, and then Dina's brains get bashed into the thing, and I think she breaks Dina's arm, and I think Ellie's fucked up somehow. I think Abby just beat the fuck out of all of them, and then Abby leaves immediately afterwards, so she's not even in this thing, and they don't know where she's going. So it's sort of like, we have nothing to do but go back.
Wait, no, but then, go back, but then I don't remember the details, but I assume after that, then she goes out again, doesn't she, to find Abby?
She does when Tommy comes back with the information like a year later.
Well, you're like cutting out, by the way.
Oh.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you fine, EliteAri, darling.
Okay, you're back.
When there's like a year gap between her going back out again. Because they go live at the farmhouse, and then Dina has JJ. Oh my goodness, EliteAri, can you believe it? The people,
go ahead, you speak.
The people at home can hear me. Wait, why can't you hear me? Oh, we got red, EliteAri, 900 ping. Don't mind us, audience. We'll figure this out. Don't you worry. Let me click on this thing over here. I'll keep you entertained, so I don't have to cut this part out. Can you believe EliteAri? He doesn't remember this video. Are you still here, EliteAri? He's not, chat. Don't worry. Hey, did you hear his little chuckle at us while he was making fun of us? Is that better, EliteAri?
You gotta keep talking.
Can you hear my...
I mean, you sound fine.
I just switched internet from the 5G to the worst one, so I think this might work. I don't know. Let me check back on Discord. Nope, it's red. Nope, it's yellow, EliteAri. Can you hear me? Oh, it's red again. Oh, it's yellow again. Oh, it's red again.
It's better.
Oh, it's green again. It's fully green, EliteAri. 120-something Mbits.
All right.
So which part did you hear and which part didn't you?
Back. I don't even remember what you were saying at this point.
I was saying there's a year break
or something, right?
There's a year break between Ellie going home because JJ has to be born, and then he's like 1. I feel like he's not a baby. Well, he's a little toddler guy. It could have been 2 years now that I'm thinking about EliteAri. Ellie's got a different haircut.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Then I rescind my point. Okay, that's not the second. She doesn't get the second opportunity.
I don't even remember what point
Maybe the show will
demolishing.
Improve the game.
True.
Yeah, the show will improve the game, and it'll make it different, and Ellie will have that second choice.
I feel like it's
obvious, and I'll love it.
I feel like nothing in the game is tied to the thematic. Like, I don't think most of it is like thematic punishment. I feel like it might, because there's sort of like, this is all fake, this thematic reading in. There's sort of a school of thought. It's kind of like the Game of Thrones thing, right? Where people are like, the characters don't just win because they thematically have done the right thing. They still fail because they practically did the wrong thing, or something like that. And I feel like The Last of Us Part 2 is kind of written more in that mold than like to service the theme. Like, I feel like the point of The Last of Us Part 2 is like the character journeys, not the thematic journeys. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's like a reading or something without a conclusion.
Oh, I got no idea. I know just what Moist Critical tells me. That's all I ever know.
Don't up like that, EliteAri. I thought we disconnected again. That was your first.
Well, you are
up point,
cutting
I
out a
believe.
little bit, but it's better.
No,
Okay.
don't say it ain't so. The audience can hear both of us, by the way.
No,
So that's good.
yeah, that was both of my dot points. I tied them into 1 point. So
Oh,
yeah, we're done.
you're
I'm done.
creative like that. So are we done, EliteAri? We're only
Mhm.
54 minutes in. We got plenty of battery left.
I have to say, this episode, it actually got me back into the show. I'm excited. Like, I'm gonna watch reactions to this one.
You're a weird
liked it
fella,
a lot, like,
EliteAri.
so much
You're a
more than
weird
the last
fella.
three.
What can we say? You don't know what good is.
I do, and it's my definition.
Well, you can't argue with that. Now, fuck, I had something to say, but now I forgot, EliteAri. So, speak now or forever hold your speak, and we gotta hold it. Theaters, something like that.
Yep.
The episode preview is super sick,
That's it.
Nora running around.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse wasn't in it, but I assume he's going to be in the episode.
I remember Nora. Yeah.
Nora's the African-American one, EliteAri. Jesus Christ.
Right.
She's a doctor. They mentioned her in this episode on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool when they got like the radio and stuff. They're listening, and that's pretty cool.
Right.
Anything else to shill, EliteAri, or should we just end this goddamn thing?
That's it. Let's end it.
EliteAri's going live after this. Everybody be there. He's got a video to react to.
Maybe.
That means no chat. What do we say at the end of these things, EliteAri?
We say thank you everyone for listening. We greatly appreciate you listening. Support links.
In the
and by that,
below.
I mean, yeah. Wait, do they know what a support link is? Do you think?
That's when it's supposed to be Patreon, I think.
Did you invent that terminology?
Yeah, probably. I'm cool like that.
It is pretty impressive. It encapsulates everything.
There's no way I did, right? That must just be something.
I don't know. Maybe.
Digibro and Best Guy ever used to say back in the day or something.
Well, anyway, yeah. Support links are in the description below if you want to support.
I've been saying this shit since 2019. God damn it. Thanks.
Yep.